All right, I tried to record this video once and my microphone was off. I spent 30 minutes doing a whole tier list just for my microphone to be off, but I'm gonna run this one more time because I love this album and I love y'all for watching this shit, so let's run this shit. This album has been tremendous. This is probably top 5 Logic albums for me. That might be crazy to say, but I gotta really think about it, but I've heard this album 2 times all the way through and I love every second of it. At this moment in time, I don't know if I have many criticisms about it. All right, so right off the bat, there's not gonna be any D-list at all. So let's just change this bad boy to skits real quick. All right. I should have been doing that for my last couple reviews. Skits are kind of a separate thing. I'll talk about them. I'll let you know what I think about them, but yeah. All right. So track number 1, Paul Rodriguez. I absolutely love this track. This thing was super dope. It pretty much addresses everything that people have to, everything that people have been thinking about this album. It pretty much says everything that was in my head right before I clicked on the album. And is Logic in his truest form going in. Yo, I really messed with this one. I'll put it at A tier, you know? I'll put it at A tier because it's a good track. It's a good track. Definitely going to be on replay for me. And then a thing I also really love about the way that Logic constructed this album is right off the bat, we get 3 different singles straight away. It's like letting us know that like the best stuff is not the singles because frankly, I wasn't in love with any of these singles. There's some good tracks, but I'm not in love with any of these singles that are on this, that he released for this album. And it seems like that was pretty intentional. Mission Control is probably my favorite out of the singles. That or Teleport, but we'll get to Teleport. And so I'm putting it at A tier. Mission Control is pretty good. Deja Vu, it'll be my first B tier just because like, you know, it kind of doesn't exist without Fade Away, which doesn't mean it's a bad track at all. Not as much as people have been hating on it I've seen, but I think that it doesn't necessarily deserve as much hate. But it's not, yeah, it's not very essential, if that makes sense. We get the first skit, get the Thomas and Kai coming back. It's the prequel, baby. We're in the prequels. I really enjoy these Thomas and Kai skits. I always have ever since Tits. Fear is a cool track. I appreciate it for its I appreciate it for what it is, you know, like for it being a little different. He put a little bit of a different beat than what I'm used to from Logic. It's a bit of a different performance than I'm used to from Logic, but it's not my favorite by any means. Not probably my least favorite single, might be one of my least favorites on the actual album. So honestly, I put it at B. I'm gonna put it down to C. Not to hate on it. It did its thing, but it's just not up there for me. And then we get to Favela. And as a Call of Duty nerd, as a guy that came up on Call of Duty, FaZe Clan, being a nerd, all this stuff, this speaks to me in a really deep way. I really love Favela. Being the corny white boy I am, this really connected with me and everything he talks about, not even just like the one-off bars about Favela. So I'll put it at A. I really enjoyed Favela. Garden 3's beat is so dope, and what Logic does with it is so hard. I mess with Garden 3, A tier as well. Ghost in the Machine with Robert Ivy is so good. Yo, Robert Ivy kills this album. Everything Robert Ivory put on this album is so good. And the feature also went off. Definitely a fire track. I'll put, you know what, first freaking A tier. First S tier, first S tier. The transition from the skit went so hard, and then I love the beat selection, and the references in the production is so great. Like Logic having the back in those times. It's like every album he uses that sample, and some people hate it. I personally love it. It puts me right at home, you know? And then we get to Interstellar, yo. Lucy Rose is a goat, yo. Interstellar might be one of my favorite tracks on this album. It might be. Like, the topic matter feels like it's just so refreshing. It's so nice to see Logic having something to talk about in this way. Like, I love when he gets into like the introspective, like talking about life and giving advice to people that might want to be where he is, and like giving a slice of life from where he's at, where he came from, him looking back on his career. In Retrospect is also so fire. In Retrospect, I love that as well. It's like a diss track to the haters, and it ends with like Logic, like it switches around and he starts wishing the best on the haters. It's like, it's so corny Logic. It's so corny, but I respect it for what it is. But at a certain point I was like, okay, Logic, all right, you're not winning over anyone with this one, bro. I'll put it at A. 44 Forever, it was cool. It's like, it's one of those singles I wasn't super crazy about. It's another one that's like, of course he had to have a 44 bars, but it's like, you know, it's all right. I'm sorry, but I'll put it at B. Someone might be mad at me for that, but I'll put it at B. The Planet Death skit, Love Me is really good off of this. I really like Love Me. It has a similar beat to Fear in that way, where it's a bit different than what I'm used to from Logic, and I really like it, and I love what he does with this. The screaming performance really takes me back to like Bobby Tarantino 1 type Logic, and it overall is was just a phenomenal track. The message, everything about it. Planet Death skit got me so good. I'm embarrassed to say how much the Planet Death skit got me. Where I really thought I was like, oh my god, he's killing off Thomas and Kai like that, and then it freaking cuts out. I'm like, oh, it's like he did like the dream sequence thing to us. Like, it's like, all right, Logic, you fucking got me, bro. You fucking got me. I'm gonna put Teleport at B tier just because I really messed with it. I like the track. The beginning part, the isn't. I don't love it. I don't love that part. Every other part of like the storytelling and the teleport thing, I like that a lot. It kind of makes it hard to come back to, but I definitely still will. The chess skit is fun. It's all right. You know, it's a little pointless. If that's fair to say? It's a little whatever. It's a little mad, but it's cute. I like the Thomas and Kai stuff a lot. Antidote. It's fun. It's a banger. This would be the one I would like play around people or in the car, you know, like to just get lit to. I like the whole topic, the antidote, you know, he's the antidote for the whack music for your playlist. And I like that whole topic. I'm gonna just throw it at B. It's a good song, quality song. I'll come back to it. I don't know if I'm gonna playlist it. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is a tremendous track, talking about where he's been through in his life, where he's come from, and in relationship to his favorite Tarantino movies, and like it finally pays off from Under Pressure, talking about what is his favorite Tarantino movie. We never know, even though he said it's Kill Bill. And then now we've realized it's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and he tells us the whole story of how he's evolved, and he used to relate to Kill Bill, the characters in Kill Bill, and how he felt like he was trying to get it. He felt like he was trying to become one of the ones, you know, get in the rap game, and that really, he connected with that a lot. And then as he matured and got older, and once he saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, he really connected with just everything about it, and that it became his favorite because of where he's gotten to, and how he's never gonna have that burning passion of trying to make it, you know, get out of the struggle and everything. And it's a beautiful moment of acceptance and introspection from Logic that I really love. I really love it a lot. Peace, Love, and Positivity. I feel like I don't know how he hasn't made this track yet. This is like a really like phenomenal like ending track for Logic. I don't think this is Logic's last album. This would be like the third last album of Logic's, but it's the end of the story, and it's beautiful that he has a track called Peace, Love, and Positivity on here. And he goes through like how his experience is being biracial, and he actually comes at it from an angle we haven't heard him talk about before, like, you know, the fact that he doesn't know what it's like to be a black man truly. And it's really interesting because he's never actually like, you know, made that kind of admission on a record before. But at the end, it's still peace, love, and positivity. It's still love everybody. It's beautiful. S tier. I'm sorry, I keep saying A tier. S tier. City of Stars, another S tier track. There is the amount of swag oozing out of this track is just phenomenal. Robert Ivory, I gotta get his name right because he murders this freaking track, and it just absolute swag flowing over the beat. And then Logic tries to come in and match the energy, and Logic kills. He murders, but then Robert Ivory comes back and murders it even harder again. Beautiful track, absolutely swagged out and awesome. Thank you for believing in me. I can't believe I just ran through this tier list so quickly, but thank you for believing in me is like, it's a great outro. I probably one of my least favorites on the album, to be honest with you. The guitar is freaking sick on this track, but the performance is kind of whatever. And it's like, you know, it's a thank you track to all of his fans and hanging with them for so long, and I appreciate that for what it is. But yeah, that's just, it's a C spot, but by no means is it bad. It's hard to stack up to, if that makes sense, with all these other beautiful tracks. Overall, I think I want to give this album like a 8.8, maybe a 9. Like, it's a really quality album, and coming from a Logic fucking stan, like, I personally think like No Pressure is like a perfect no skip album. So this is like damn near up there, you know. It's really good. Logic actually pulled it out with this one for Ultra 85. From all the times of saying he's not dropping Ultra 85, like, I think we got a good one out of this. It was worth the wait, and a really climactic ending to the story, and I think he pays off the story really well too. Thomas and Kai, you know, going back to another day, really, like, it's a prequel story, but it also kind of like, it's a beautiful like ending for Thomas and Kai, just like they're back to work. Let me know what y'all think about this album. Let me know how you're rocking with Ultra 85. I've been seeing a lot of the fans really appreciating this album for what it is, and I would love to hear your opinions down below. I fucking love every single one of y'all. I'm gonna get out of here. I got my best friend came down from Georgia and he's in the house right now. So I'm sorry if this video seems a bit rushed. I was really enthusiastic about it, so I'm like running through the songs, telling you every single thing real quick off the top of my head, reading my notes. But I really love every single one of y'all. If you made it this far in the video, if you this is your first video on my channel, like, comment, and subscribe. There'll be more videos just like this if you mess with this one. So I love y'all. I'm gonna see you on the next one. I'm gonna get out of here. Peace.
You know, Mort, I think you're beginning to grow.
Well, sir, I don't know how much value I have in this universe, but I do know that I made a few people happier than they would have been without me. And as long as I know that, I'm as rich as I ever need to be. So I'll catch you on the rebound, your magnitude. Until next week, Nanu, Nanu.